Truth does not have to hurt. That's not what it was designed to do. So if it wasn't designed to hurt, then what exactly was it designed for? If love and unity are the answers to the chaos that's going on in our world, and it is, then how do we get there? Hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining in with me today on Organise Earth Network, where we talk about all things pertaining to life and living. So today I believe is going to be the beginning of a series of episodes that's going to be about truth. Because if we could start there, then maybe we can get to the point or the desired level of peace that I believe many are hoping for at this time. So let's jump right in and start trying to connect the dots that is creating most of the chaos in our world. So I brought my notes with me today because I did not want to get off topic and lose my train of thought. And that way we'll be able to stay on task and keep a smooth flow as we begin to delve into some issues that, or some things that I think that we all need to know and could benefit greatly from. So if you live on planet Earth, and I'm sure you do, if you're looking at this, especially on YouTube, you know that we have some serious issues that are going on right now. And I don't know about your household, but I know in my household, when things were going on, the first thing that the adult or the person in charge wanted to know is what happened. You know, what is going on? What created this level of confusion that is taking place between the two siblings or whatever the situation may be. Now, to truly understand what's going on with anything, a lot of times you have to get to what the old folks used to say, the root of the problem. And some things you're just not going to be able to see on the surface. All right. So being a gardener, I understand the importance of checking out the root system when things just don't look right on the surface. All right. You look, you check, you just can't seem to find what the problem could be. So it would be crazy to just sit there and keep looking at the plant and trying to figure it out instead of digging it up and looking at the root system to see if we have some issues going on there. Because if that root system is not intact, you can forget about it. Okay? So for a plant to be as strong and productive as we would like for it to be, it's got to have a good root system in place. Okay, so let's jump right on in, and I also have to add to that, when you have two siblings or two people at odds, there's always three sides. Okay, you got their side, which you got one side, you got the other side, and then in the middle we have the truth. And somewhere in between there, we'll figure out what's going on. So I really want to take my time with this. I promise you we're gonna get somewhere with it, but I really want to take my time because I want to make sure that everything is clear and that it's understood. And I would like to present it in a way that people that are in that paradigm shift, or even those that are not, shall I say, those that are not in that paradigm shift, they would to be able to grasp or glean something from what we are going to be discussing. So to do that, to get down to the bottom of things, to get to the truth of it, we're going to have to dig some stuff up. Okay? All right? Dig it up, excavate it, tear it down. You know, some things may have to be done in order to get to the bottom of that plant, to the root system, to figure out exactly what's going on with it. All right, so again, I promise you I'm going somewhere with this. This process of digging around this tree, this plant, or what have you, could be very stressful, and it could require some time. Not to mention, it could just be a downright ugly sight sitting there, you know, in the yard or wherever you've got it located initially. But the bad part is, I don't know, you know, or you don't know what you may find, and it may have caused, with you digging it up, it may seem to have caused more damage than what was already done, but maybe even not, because, you know, no need in letting something sit there and fester, and then, oh, we're going to figure this out at the last minute, and then it's done contaminated everything else in the garden by that time. Now, the good part about this is, if the root system is functioning properly, then there's nothing for you to worry about. You know, when a root system is intact, I don't care how many times you dig it up. Once you plant it back in the proper soil or what have you, in the proper environment, it's going to grow. And eventually, you're going to be able to receive fruit from that particular plant. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm getting ready to dive deep. So I had to take a moment there to try to prime before just jumping straight in, okay? There's definitely levels to this madness. Trust me when I tell you. And the thing about that is, you know, sudden exposure to certain things, even light, you know, can be harsh. It can be very harsh, especially if you had no idea it was coming, or you know, just that sudden exposure. It could be harsh, and maybe even harsher than the thing that you are dealing with, that is trying to destroy you or to tear you down. So sometimes you just kind of have to go easy and be patient. So I want to start by saying that we have been so indoctrinated that those who hold the truth out there are, with the exception of a few, are afraid to share. They're really afraid to share because of the backlash that most of them get whenever they begin to speak their truth, or whatever the case may be. Now, I do believe in speaking my truth and you speaking your truth. But then there's also a time to be able to bring some facts and put some facts on the table. And that's what I want to do. Yeah, I brought some receipts, okay? I want to put some facts on the table. And the thing with a fact and truth, you could fight with it all you want to. Eventually, that fact and that truth is going to win, okay? So it's no need to try to fight against that too hard. So it's imperative, in order for us to know the truth, we have to first know our history. Okay? And when I talk about knowing our history, some of you are looking at me right now thinking I'm talking about black history or my history because I'm a brown girl and I have melanated skin. That is not at all what I'm talking about overall. I'm talking about world history. I'm talking about the history that pertains to all of us. Okay? The whole problem that we've been dealing with for eons is division, because we've been separated and indoctrinated with information that has caused us to believe that we're separate people. And that is so far from the truth, because we're not. We are one. We are one species of people. Okay? So when I'm talking about history, I'm talking about the history that includes all human. Okay? Not just one color, if you want to call it that. All right? So every human being, I need you to quickly understand, is connected, whether you want to be connected or not. You know, we're related. Okay? We're equal. All right? That's hard for some people to swallow. I know, but we gotta get this thing together. So I know most of you are thinking, does that mean I'm related to the present and previous presidents? Yeah. All right. So every human being, again, is connected because there's only one bloodline. There's only one bloodline. Okay? And of human beings, that is, that are actually not extinct and still living. All right? So understand that race is an illusion and it was created. However, racism, it is very real. Okay? So we don't want to get the two mixed up. Race, I told you on another video, and it may have been on a different channel, Green Life Garden and Home DIY channel. I talked about race being created by a man by the name of Johann Blumenbach. And he created 5 different types of races within the people. Okay? And I believe it was American, Caucasian, Malayan, Mongolian, and Ethiopian, which was considered black. American was red, and I believe Malayan was brown, and, you know, Mongolian was yellow, and then we had the Caucasian, which was white. So these are the categories that he created. All right? All right, so the thing you really should be asking yourself or considering is, and I know I have, and I ask you the question, have you ever considered why are they even using the term race? Okay? I I don't get that. All right? Race is something in my book that you do. It's a verb. I don't see it as a noun. I see it as a verb. So you race a car. You have two human beings racing each other. On 2 feet. But you have to know that the race was created to put somebody in the lead somewhere. And most people, there's that spirit of competition that's in all of us. I mean, who don't want to be the best, do the best, you know? So understand that race is an illusion. All right? That's something that somebody created, put together to bring about the division that we're dealing with in our country right now. All right? So think about it. Pets. I don't hear them giving pets a race. What they call them? A breed. That's right, a breed. I've never heard them say, what race of cats is that? What race of dogs is that? So if they haven't used that term for the animals that we love, and even those that are considered to be on the lowest of the totem pole, why is it that we have chosen that term for human beings? Okay? We are a species of people. You have breeds of animals, So I think it's time that we erase that illusion of race and different types of people. And I believe that would benefit all of us. So we understand that this level of ignorance and education is coming from somewhere. And we could point our fingers in every single direction. And I believe every system has a bit of the blame. But for those of us with young children, ask yourself, I'm asking you, how are you going to respond to them when the history books are rewritten? Because they will be. Okay? How are you going to be able to stay up with them on what truth is if you don't even know the truth? You think you had a hard time helping them with homework, So your children are going to be wondering why you've never told them Christopher Columbus did not discover America. And Hippocrates is not the father of medicine. Okay? I'm not taking away from the roles that they had in history. I acknowledge what they've done and what they've brought to the table. But you got to go back and do your research and see that Hippocrates was actually giving credence to Imhotep. Y'all don't let these words and these names start causing you to get confused and shy away from the truth because, she's saying some stuff I don't understand now. These are ancient names that were changed by the Greeks and the Romans and all the others that came in and exploited the land in Africa. Okay? So understand that you had Imhotep 2,200 years on the scene before Hippocrates. Understand that a lot of these great people got their knowledge and information from great people that was here way before they were even thought of. Okay? So you'll notice the name Hippocrates used for Imhotep was Asclepius, which was a Greek name. Okay? But Imhotep, you can look it up. Imhotep. He was the father of medicine, architect, science, mathematics, tools, and a whole abundance of other things. He even built a step pyramid for one of the kings. He put together the plans for building that pyramid. Okay, so truth is power, and truth doesn't have to hurt. And those that are hurt are usually those that want to reject it and just not honor it. Okay, so I was looking in the Bible, and according to John 8:32, we know the scripture tells us that the truth will set you free. Okay, and so I also followed up with 1 Peter 2:16 that says, live in freedom, but do not use that freedom as a cover up for evil. All right? But let's go down 16 verses pretty much and point out what happened in verse 8:48, John 8:48. And I'm not trying to hold Bible study. I'm not. I'm just trying to lay a foundation, because we got a long road ahead of us for some of the things that we want to talk about concerning truth not having to hurt. All right? So we get down to John 8:48, and we see where they told Jesus he had a devil because he was speaking the truth to them. And this is what a lot of people say, whether it's in your face, behind your back, or say it to somebody else. This is what people tend to say when you begin to speak truth and put it out there. You could come with receipts, and they'll still struggle with it if it's just not something that they are ready to accept, or who knows what the case may be. But if you are a person that, and I believe you are, or you wouldn't have watched this long, that are thirsty for truth, that want truth, you're going to have to search, seek out, get this information, go do your own research on it. Again, I'm coming with facts, okay? And we're going to get there, I promise. So I love a quote from Dr. Asa Hilliard that says, a mental slave is a greater victim of bondage than a physical slave. A mental slave is a greater victim of bondage than a physical slave. And that's a whole nother story right there in and of itself. But just to stay on topic, truth does not have to hurt. I could not agree more, though, with Dr. Hilliard we are all victims, with the exception of a few, to having our mental faculties governed, hence the term government, governing your mental. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. What is a shame, if you choose to continue to live in your ignorance once you have came into the knowledge of the truth. All right? So this is my thought right here, because the educational system is the one system the government mandates everybody to go through. That's the perfect place for us to start a peace movement, because we're all in there together in those classrooms. Our children, they're in the cafeteria sitting with one another. They're on the playground playing with one another. And it's sad to even think about the division that is getting ready to, that is being put in place right now as I speak for the next upcoming school year. You know, the information that I've read, it looks as though there's going to be a lot of division and separation, and I don't see that being a good start for bringing some sort of unity, peace, and love. I don't see that. But that is a perfect place to start a peace movement that leads to love, that leads to unity. And we could do that by developing a curriculum that is geared toward true world history. And even an Afrocentric curriculum could be put together. But we've got to start with the truth. We got to go back. If we don't understand the past, we'll never understand the future. And history will continue to repeat itself, and it will be in a fashion that we are not wanting to have. Okay? That is not going to be the best for the people that are living in our world. So there are many that hate what they don't understand. A lot of times, if a person is not familiar with something and or they just don't understand it, they have a tendency to shun it as being irrelevant or unimportant or just nothing. You know, I don't understand that, so I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to learn a new language. I don't, you know, I'll pass. You know. So sadly, some of that is a reflection of self-hate, because many do not have a clue who they are. They don't have a clue who they are. Because if most people understood how connected we are, we would not see the level of hate that we see going on right now. It just, you wouldn't see it. Regardless of how superior we may believe we are still one bloodline. That's it. One bloodline. And research has proven it. So I want you to do your research. And I promise you're going to track yourself down, and it's going to lead you right back connected to me. I don't care who you are or what race of people they have said you are. We still connected. We still one. Okay? So something I found that was interesting and heard in some literature I read and heard, that the mitochondrial DNA is passed on by the mother. The mitochondrial DNA is passed on by the mother. And what's interesting about that, according to one scholar, and I'm going to introduce that person to you later, Everyone has this DNA, which traces back to Africans that are still living today in Africa. And it's the Homo sapiens species. We are over 200,000 years old. That's the human being species that is currently living. That's wow. That's mind blowing. Okay? Hey, the truth doesn't have to hurt, you know. We can now truly say, as we often joke, that we didn't pick our family. Okay? We didn't pick our family. They were given us by divine order. All right? And the universe has a purpose for everything. Absolutely everything. So once you get through the shock, again, of being related to your present and former presidents, you could go do some research and find this out for yourself. All right. So again, we are one species, and our shared genetic history is written in every cell. According to information found at the David Koch Hall of Fame, we have a genetic history that is written in every cell and DNA of all human beings that are living today. All right? Also, all humans living today share that those genetic that genetic DNA in those cells are 99.9% identical. That sounds like some Jerry Springer stuff. You are the father. You know, you are my sister. You are my brother. You are my aunt, uncle, cousin, you know. So if you'll do your research, I found that information at the David Koch Hall of Fame. And also check out the Smithsonian Museum. All right. The Smithsonian Museum of Natural History. All right. They are connected with David Koch and brothers. All right. And so David Koch Hall of Human Origins, and you will find there that they acknowledge the human existence beginning in Africa. I didn't write this. All right. This is something that they acknowledge in his Hall of Human Origins. Okay. And the U.S. Congress supports those claims as true. And so again, Homo sapiens are 200,000 years old, and they come from Africa. You will find also documented that 60,000 years ago, Africans migrated to Asia. All right. Then you had a group of these people that broke off, that migrated to Asia. Some of those same Africans, they went to West Asia. Okay. Currently known as Europe. So what does that mean? That means not only were the first Europeans African, But the original man was also African. And this is something we need to know. We need to know our world history, because we got people around here fighting and killing each other and calling each other out different races that is related. Imagine you being in a household with someone you're related to, calling each other names, and you're related. All right? So there's a whole lot of information that we are going to be covering. If you enjoyed this episode, please stay tuned for future episodes, because we do have a whole lot to talk about. I'm sorry I was kind of glaring out the window because it looked like we got a storm that's trying to make up. Again, stay with us. We're going to continue to dig deep, going to continue to bring facts and information that's going to help us begin to understand how we are truly connected with one another. I want you to remember also that we are light, we are love, we are energy, and we are definitely one. We are one. And so we have got to come to grips with that, regardless of how bad we don't want to be related to this person over here or that person over there, for whatever the reason. I want to go ahead and close. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, I have a whole lot that I would like to share with you on this topic. Do your own research in the meantime. Go look up the oldest human origin and see where you find it, and you'll see that what I'm telling you is true. So until the next time, we love you over here at Organise Earth Network. Please don't forget to go check out our channel, Green Life Garden Home DIY, which is a gardening channel, and there are things on there that could really begin to help you and hopefully inspire you to get out and start growing your own food. All right, so until next time, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Remember, truth does not have to hurt. Have a great day.